years ago, our lives were changed forever.
2,753 people lost their lives on September 11th in a terrorist attack on American soil. A wave of transformation immediately followed. Our Target 3 investigator Renee Cooper's been taking a look back through the decades. Renee, those attacks forced us all to rethink our own security.
Yeah, I've been having this conversation with so many today. They never thought twice about getting on a plane before 9/11. The Champaign County courthouse was locked down for weeks. It, just like so many aspects of our everyday lives, will never be the same.
9/11 changed everything in the way I think people think about air travel.
Jessica Maley works for the U.S. Transportation Security Administration, an agency created in direct response to the attacks.
In a pre-9/11 world, there was no TSA. In fact, you didn't even have to bring your ID to the airport. There were no assembly lines of people taking off their shoes and tossing them into buckets with all of their other personal effects. And maybe the most missed phenomenon from 20 years ago is that your family could walk with you all the way through security, all the way to your departing gate to say goodbye.
This is Willard Airport in Savoy, the year 1996. Back then, a private security company ran a much smaller scale system. Passengers walked through a metal detector.
And then, you would get wanded if there was an alarm that went off.
We went on a little vacation a couple months after 9/11.
Champaign County State's Attorney Julia Reitz tells me the immediate tightening of security was jarring.
A security guard motioned me over with my little, 5-6-year-old daughter. He had me take her kids off, her little white 5-year-old kids off to check them for explosives.
Reitz started working at the Champaign County Courthouse before 9/11. The change there began a few years prior.
A man came in with a Molotov cocktail and threw it at one of the judges in the middle of a jury trial.
Before that, this was one of 4 doors open to the public.
We increased court security division. All the entrances and exits were closed down, so we had one way in and out.
On 9/11, Sergeant Michelle Manega was on duty at the courthouse. She says the building had 24-hour security for weeks, and security technology has only improved since then.
There's entire generations now that really have lived with these changes, but there's a lot of us who really remember what happened on that day and how we felt for long periods afterwards.
Now, I also checked into 9/11 response here at Memorial Stadium. University Public Affairs tells me the lasting change is in the way they approach security altogether. I'm told nowadays the stadium's security plan is reevaluated after every game. Now, coming up in the second half of the newscast, I'll share more of the specific airport changes that you may not have known about. Back to you.
All right, Renee, and a lot has changed in the 2 decades since that day.
Security has been the theme of new laws and technology created in the last 20 years. Target 3 investigator Renee Cooper is back with us tonight. Renee, you told us the TSA was created in response to the attacks, and the agency has evolved a lot since then as well.
Well, these days, the Transportation Security Administration operates on a multi-billion-dollar budget. It's evolving alongside new threats all of the time. In fact, that 3-ounce liquid rule was created after someone tried to bring materials to make an explosive onto a flight. And TSA PreCheck, that started in 2013. It allows flyers to skip through the long lines by providing information ahead of time. Jessica Maley with our regional TSA office tells me agents are focused on unknown passengers. So PreCheck was added to speed up the process for people who they've scanned likely multiple times in the past. And Jennifer and Jessica was especially surprised by some of the things that could make it onto a flight before September 11th. So I wanted to see if you can guess some of these items. Now, let me explain how this is going to work. I'm going to name a few, and after I name each, you'll tell me true if you believe it was permitted on a plane back then, or false if it was not allowed.
Okay.
So the first one I have for you is a baseball bat. Was a baseball bat allowed on a plane?
True.
True.
It is true.
Okay.
True. Very good so far. How about scissors?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to go true.
You guys are just going along the
Well,
lines
because
of
I feel like I
everything.
brought them. Little scissors.
So, yeah, scissors were allowed. It didn't specify size for those. What about a 6-inch knife?
That's very specific.
I'm going to say
No.
You guys are good at this. Yes, and in fact, I wanted to point out that you could bring, though, a knife up to 4 inches onto a plane back then.
Interesting.
What about box cutters?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, you guys win.
All right.
I don't know how you got all of these, but I'm going to have to do better at this if we do.
Not that we were bringing those things on.
No,
playing
no.
Way back when, but
Good guesses.
Certainly not, and I'm so glad, honestly, that those things are not allowed nowadays. There's so many other things that caught me off guard, and if you want to see those, I've put them over on the website. That's WCIA.com under the Target 3
all right,
tab.
interesting. Thank you, Renee.
Chicago has its share of parks, but did you know there are some